Okay, good morning, boys and girls. So I'd like to review with you the 3 sounds for ED. One of them is ed, the other one is d, and the other one is t. Remember, if it says ed at the end, it will be spelled with ED, and the word has to end with a T or a D. If it ends with the sound D, it's going to be after a voiced consonant. So if your consonant is voiced, then your ED is voiced and you'll hear D. If your word ends with a consonant that is unvoiced, then you're going to hear ED at the end of the word sound like T. Remember, we use ED to talk about the past. Is something that already happened. So if I'm going to turn yell into yelled, because l is voiced, it's going to say d. Yank. The k is unvoiced, so you're going to hear t at the end. Yank. Remember, these are all past tense words, meaning they already happened. Slump. Because P is unvoiced, you're going to hear T at the end for ED. Slumped. The next word is limp. Just like we did in slump, we know that P is unvoiced, so you're going to hear T at the end. Limped. He limped because he hurt his ankle. Plop. Again, P is unvoiced, so you're going to hear T at the end. And this one, we are going to double the consonant when we write ED, just like we double the consonant when we add ing, when there is a consonant that follows the vowel after it. Remember, it can only be one vowel, though. Okay, smile. Is voiced, so you're going to hear D, smiled. Shrug, g is voiced. Again, it's going to hear shrugged, this D at the end. And this one, we do the same thing. We double the consonant because it's a short vowel sound followed by a consonant. One of them. Okay, like. Is unvoiced. So it's going to say liked. It's going to sound like a T at the end. And then the last one is pat. Again, T is unvoiced. The T sound is unvoiced. So you're going to hear patted. Because it ends with a T, it's going to be id, ed. And again, we have to double the consonant because there's a short vowel with one consonant, so patted. So if I read these, yelled, yanked, slumped, limped, plopped, smiled, shrugged, liked, patted. So remember, when you hear a T at the end of it, it's never going to be Y-A-N-K-T. It's always E-D, especially if you're talking about happening in the past. But it's never going to be spelled with a T at the end. It's not going to be S-L-U-M-P-T. It's E-D, friends, so you need to remember that. Okay, so for the next part, we're going to review the short sounds for the vowels. So if I have these vowel sounds, remember, you say the sound when it's between two parallel lines that are slanted. So it's I. So these words are pit, sit, fit, lip. Then you have a, bed, fed, pet, bell. A, hat, sat, cat, cap. You have a, run, fun, sun, cup. And a, pot, hot, mop, sock. Now, when when you have a short vowel and it's followed by a consonant, all of these words on this page are closed syllables. Okay? When you have a short vowel that follows a consonant, and remember, it's everything after the vowel you're looking at, so it can have more than one consonant. It's going to be a closed syllable. Okay, the next part, we're going to learn about the magic E. When you put a magic E at the end of the word, it makes the vowel say its own name, and this says nothing. So if we sound this out, it says b-a-k. So the word is bake. So let's read these words. These are some A consonant E words. So A with a consonant and then a magic E at the end. Read the words. Ate, late, made, safe, sail, name. Can you think of any A consonant E words other than the ones that you just read? Now these are I consonant E words. So again, the magic E says I says its own name and the E is quiet. So all the I's in these words are going to say I. Read them. Time, mine, shine, ride. Can you think of more I consonant E words? Where the I says I and there's a magic E at the end of it. Okay. The next part is we are going to read, I'm going to read a story from our new reader this time. So one of the words in the story are drapes. By looking at this picture, can you tell me what another word for drapes are? Another word for drapes is curtains. You're going to hear the word slump. Look at this man and the way he's sitting in his chair. What does slump mean? To fall down slightly. So do you see how he's not sitting up nice and tall? He's slightly falling down in his chair. Sulk. Look at this boy's face. How do you think what kind of mood do you think he's in? Sulk. Being in a bad mood. So if you sulk, if you're sulking, you're in a bad mood. Glint. Look at this picture. Can you tell what glint means? Glint means a small flash of light. So glint will be in the story as well. These are some words that are going to be in the story. A consonant E, remember, says A. So read the words. Plain, take, came, drapes, face, made, tail. Then you're going to have I consonant E words. Remember, it says I. Mike, bedtime, smiled, liked. So we have a new reader. It's Bedtime Tales. It's our Unit 2 reader, and this is what the front cover looks like. We also have a table of contents in our reader. Remember, the table of contents is the name of the chapter and what page it's on. So we're going to read Chapter 1 today, Mike's Bedtime. This is Mike. Mike had his jet plane in his left hand. Zip, zing, he yelled. Take that, T-Rex. Just then, his dad came in and said, Mike, it's bedtime. Do you remember what this punctuation mark is called? Yes, it's a comma. And we use commas to pause or to list three things. But in this case, we're pausing because there's nothing to list. It just says, just then, his dad came in and said, here's a new punctuation mark. These, do you remember, does anybody know what these are called? Yes, they're called quotation marks. And quotation marks means someone is talking. So if it says, just then, his dad came in and said, Mike, it's bedtime. Who's saying, Mike, it's bedtime? Well, if you go looking back in the story, it says his dad. And then we know Mike's talking up here because it says it up here. There's Mike and his dad. But, Mike said. I'm 7. Can't I just sit up a bit? Mike's dad said, not if the sun is down and the street lamp is on. Then it's bedtime. Mike said, but if the street lamp is off, it's not bedtime yet. Mike ran to check on the lamp and the sun. He yanked back the drapes, known as curtains. The sun had set. It was pitch black. The street lamp was glinting, or having that flash of light, in the blackness. It was bedtime. Look at his face. What is he doing? What's that word we just learned? Ugh, Mike said. He slumped and let his chin drop on his chest. Bedtime, said his dad. Mike limped to his bed and plopped down on it. He made a face that said, I wish it was not bedtime. So remember, sulk means you're in a bad mood. He's in a bad mood because he doesn't want to go to bed. Mike's dad smiled. What if I tell you a bedtime tale? He asked. Would that help? Mike did not think it would help much. He shrugged. When I was a kid, his dad said, your grandpa would tell me bedtime tales. I like them. I'll bet I can still tell a lot of them. Okay, said Mike. I would like one bedtime tale. Mike's dad sat down on the bed and patted Mike on the back of the neck. This is a bedtime tale your grandpa liked to tell me, he said. All right, so that's it for our skills lesson today. And in the assignment, I want you to tell me a word. You're going to change the word mat into mate. So type in the comments, what would you have to do to turn mat into mate? Good job, friends.